How many people would rather spend the day with their dog than their coworkers? So for dog people, does anybody here have dogs that some people think are dangerous? So what do you have? Just shout it out. Pit Bull, Rottweiler, Great Dane. Boxers. Chihuahua, the most dangerous dog ever. Do you have a Chihuahua, sir? Is it in your purse right now? Part of the communication with our employees is making sure that they are allowed to make mistakes. And this is a hard thing to do. Again, because we're training people for the next job or their next career, their next advancement, we have to let people try. My parents used to say, I would rather you try and fail than not do anything. But right now, we're kind of a risk-averse society. If you're a leader, please encourage your people to try things and fail. Come up with new ideas. If you punish people for ideas, or you don't value those ideas, you're probably not going to get those. Right now, you might be slightly horrified to find out that 76% of people currently in a job are looking for another job. 48% of people would take another job opportunity if it was presented to them. 33% of employees say that they would take a pay cut if it meant their boss got fired. Now, wouldn't it be amazing if all organizations were looking at their employees with an eye toward helping them guide that career to their next success? Now, we all know people who are at work and they're not working. But if the accountability is in place, it doesn't matter where people are, they can be productive. If we want to attract the best possible people for our organization, we have to make sure we're providing them with what they want and what they need to be as successful as possible. With more technology, people feel as though they lack human contact. People are feeling lonelier at work, even if they're working in the cubicle or the desk next to you. And this work change is shifting because we've now seen an advent of more and more remote workers. The US Patent and Trademark Office has over 11,000 employees. 94% of them are remote workers, meaning they work from home, they can work from an alternate office on the other side of the country, they can work wherever they choose to work. They are then based and graded on the results and the outcomes they provide. It's a totally different shift in mindset, but it's also shifted us to a place of isolationism. I think in the future we're going to see something called the Human Contact Officer, the HCO, Human Contact Officer. And those people are going to be responsible for helping people make better connections with each other. Crazy, isn't it, that with all of the technology we have today to communicate, we would need more people to encourage us to get face-to-face and have this magic that occurs when I can look at you and see what you're thinking. People in the workplace don't just want to be thanked with a trophy that's meaningless, but they want to be respected. They want their ideas to be heard. And they want to know that what they do matters above all else. So if you're going to thank people, make sure it's meaningful. I ask people, I say, do you have a business plan? People say, it's all right here. So what's the problem with having it all right here? This is very busy. There's a lot going on up here. So would it be helpful to you today if I was able to help you craft a business plan in less than 5 minutes? Life is so short. Life is a finite number of unknown minutes, and we can only do the things that are important. So one of the things I really encourage people to do is look at the things that are sucking up your time on a day-to-day basis that are not important. And I call those the SDS, stop doing stupid. So what we have in the military is distractions for those missiles. Those are heat-seeking missiles who are looking for a large footprint of metal in the air. And when they go through the air and they hit that large footprint of metal, which is your plane, it blows up. Well, ideally, you want to fool that missile into thinking something else is you so that you can fly away safely. And this is something called chaff. One of the ways leaders can best develop their people is to help them see the value of working together. What you're trying to do is figure out areas of strengths among your team members. And you do that by looking at the things that they have on their list of their to-dos, and you figure out what they don't like doing. But there are people, folks, working for you who simply are not sure about the best possible way to do their job. Now, as a leader, what can you do to help them do that? The productivity system kicks in here. The theory of efficiency wages says workers want to do a good job. And what they need from you as their boss, as their employer, as their leader, is they need you to step forward and make sure you're taking care of them as well. Are you motivating your people to do their very best? And if so, how do you do that? Every single person's motivation is different. It may be based on how they were raised, their age, their education. Mostly it's based on personality. How do you best motivate your people to stay focused on the mission at hand? And the answer is you ask them. You say, hey, what would it take for you to do an even better job? Ask them that question. We learn more from the failures than we do the successes. This is why the book, Why Leaders Fail, is so critically important, because we identify 7 key areas where leaders fairly systematically fail their people and inadvertently sabotage their own success. The habedula in our brain is hardwired to not like things that make us feel as though we're failing, which is why a 360-degree approach to leadership is so difficult, because it makes you look at things that you're doing with other people, and it makes you analyze the relationships in your communication and how you're approaching situations and problems.